I want to get XYZ results, or I need to learn about this specific topic, and finding somebody who has experience in that topic.
Let's just say that in 3 days it's quite unlikely that we're going to do it, and I would have to be a magician or a magical fairy from La La Land, to make it happen for you. Come on, let's not kid ourselves. We are a commodity. As coaches, mentors, we are also a commodity. So it's like with products. You check the reviews, right? You check that you're going to get what you are aiming to get. It's just a case of the differences between a product and a person, right? You need to know what you're buying. You're paying your hard-earned money for something. You would want to know that you are going to get out of it what you are seeking.
You get more than what you pay for. You get more value out of what your investment is, and people who deliver more results than talk.
Yeah. Hello and welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Habits of Influence, a project by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, where we discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly aspects of building a movement, and hopefully provide insight, as well as motivation for your business journey. Through the combined expertise of 34 years in business, your hosts, Magdalena Hanah and Ian Menheimer, are here to empower and indirectly mentor you whilst you become the person others wish to follow. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Habits of Influence, where me, Magdalena Hanah, and my co-host
Ian Manheimer.
talk about business and life, and we undertake all the aspects of being an entrepreneur, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how to remain sane, and how to become a person who creates a massive movement of people who love to follow you. And that's what we're all about. Episode by episode, we are not afraid to undertake difficult topics. We are not afraid to make fools out of ourselves. No, of course not. I'm just like, we're just like to be funny from time to time, or at least we think we're funny. So if you're liking our episodes and you are coming back for the next week, or you're coming back after another week, hello, welcome. It's awesome to see you. And if you're new, welcome. It's great to have you here. I hope you love the episodes. As usual, please remember to tap that bell so that you never miss new episodes. We're here with you every single Wednesday at 12 p.m. EST. And if you're with us, we really appreciate you. In fact, this episode is all about one of our wonderful listeners. And as you know, you can always send your topics to us. We are always here to listen to you. You can send them to our email, habitsofinfluence@gmail.com. It's going to show up on the screen now. That's habitsofinfluence@gmail.com. And today's episode is sponsored. No, it's not sponsored, but it has been requested by one of our dear watchers, listeners. Her name is Katie, and Katie really liked our episode about our coach is dishonest, which is going to pop up on the screen, by the way, somewhere on the right, left, if you're watching on YouTube, which you can click and if you haven't watched the episode. But yeah, Katie did write a message to you, Ian, and she did have a request. Can you just remember roughly of what she said?
Oh geez. I think it was something along the lines of like, how do we determine what coaches to pick, or what decisions do we make to decide what coach to go with? Or it was something along the lines of, how do we choose our coaches? Like, what do we look for? How do we choose them? And give me a little further, deeper insight into that topic.
Awesome. So the thing I'm going to kind of be more specific, because obviously you're going to pay attention to different things in different types of coaches, right? So there's life coaches, there's mentors, there's business coaches, and business coaches, I think that's what we're going to focus on today. Because if you want help with your business, of course you can hire a life coach for your personal needs, your mindset, your life needs, or whatever, relationships. But today I wanted to focus specifically on business coaching, because business coaches are those people that can help us grow in our business, specifically can help us launch new heights, grow. Business coaches can help us with our mindset and our business alike. And I think there's more confusion as to a good business coach than it is with a life coach. Life coach, you need to resonate with the person, right? They need to know what they're talking about. But I don't want to go into specific details. I think what we're going to talk about today actually is going to cover both. What do you think? How should we approach it? Because I would want to focus on business coaches because I think choosing a wrong life coach can have less costly repercussions than choosing the wrong business coach.
I would agree. I think there's a blend because you get a little bit of both with both, right?
Yeah.
But with the podcast where we're focusing is mostly entrepreneurship, mostly business. So I think it would be beneficial to focus on if we're discussing business coaching makes sense. And there's different types of business coaches as well. And if you don't mind, like I'll plug you for a second. You are sales and marketing, which applies to pretty much every business. So you could work with basically anybody where, like for me, if I'm doing business coaching, I'm not going to coach on sales and marketing. I'm going to coach on like my expertise, which is the areas of my business, what I've spent the last 21 years building. So
see, that's where I think we should start, because I think there's kind of like a misconception of like you said, there's different types of business coaches, and when we think business coach is like, oh yeah, they're just gonna help me with my business. It's not as easy, right? And I think the first thing that I would pinpoint here, or the first of the five, because we did say in the title of the video that we are going to kind of pinpoint 5 of the most important traits that we look for when we are choosing a business coach. And I think this one is number 1. This is the most important thing. Are they actually an expert in what it is that you're looking for? And I'm going to expand on that. I get really, really irritated for, and actually I want to do a separate episode about that. But let's talk about it in a different time. Experts who are experts at everything, or experts of nothing, but suddenly coaches of everything. Do you know what I mean? So there are people who just become coaches, which I generally don't have anything against. Everybody has a right to their expertise. Everybody has a right to their passion. Everybody has a right to start a business. But with business coaching, it is specifically important for me personally that a business coach is not just a business coach, that they actually have experience and expertise in running any form of business, like any business at all. Like they've been in business. Not just, running a coaching business as a business, but actually they've had some sort of experience. What is it for you?
On that? And I agree. I do agree with that. I think that's extremely important is, to have somebody who has knowledge in the area in which you're looking for. That's really important. Now, question that as you were talking just kind of popped in my head was, does it have to be running their own business? Could they be the CEO of a big company? Could they be upper management or running a chain or a franchise? Can they have business experience that's not necessarily their own business? Would that be somebody who you would go to as well? Or is it kind of a, just somebody who's run their own business?
I mean, obviously, if I wanted to run a brick and mortar business, let's say with a specificity for a certain industry, I would probably look for a person that has expertise in that specific industry as a brick and mortar business owner. It doesn't matter whether they are a CEO of a large brand or a chain, or that they work for the corporate. Right? It doesn't matter for me if they turn from the corporate world into a coach. They already have some sort of expertise behind them. Yes, they have the knowledge under their belt with that industry that I'm interested in. If I am looking for starting up an online business, let's say, I would rather choose somebody who's been in the online world, because I'm going to tell you why, because I used to run both a brick and mortar and online businesses, as you know, and despite certain rules that are going to be global for all businesses, there are massive differences in the way you approach it, and the way you market, and the way you do sales. So I would rather probably focus on somebody who already has an expertise with an online business, but again, not coaching. But actual online business, running their own online business. That's quite important for me, for example.
Yeah. And and this is something I feel is going to be really crucial and important as you're looking for a coach, knowing what it is you want to get out of the coaching. Because if you don't know what you want to get out of it, you're going blindly in and you're going to take any advice. So having a specific goal and saying, I want to get XYZ results, or I need to learn about this specific topic, and finding somebody who has experience in that topic.
Well, a good coach, and I'm going to tell you, I think that it kind of supplements number one. A good coach, a person that you are, let's say, speaking to previously before you actually start cooperating with them, is it somebody that you should first observe and look how they behave and look how they run their business, but also someone, and to me, actually can be a deal breaker, somebody you spoke to, and that person should advise you based on the conversation that you have, whether it's a chat or a telephone conversation, which I highly advise to anybody. They should come up with the reasoning with you. So in a form of asking the right questions, a good coach should guide you into finding a specific problem and formulating a plan of what you are going to do with them in terms of the coaching. So it can't be like, oh, please help me grow my business, or please help me with my marketing. It needs to be specific. Whenever I speak to my clients beforehand, we formulate an actual plan. So we are relying on specificity within the time frame of, and here's the time frame for what we're going to be doing the coaching. We specify that we want to achieve this goal, that goal. If we're speaking of marketing, we are specifically going to address this issue, or we're going to have this target, or we're going to, let's say, just focus on your paid advertising, or just focus on your social media presence. It needs to be specific. So a good coach will never tell you that, no, we're just doing anything, we're just doing everything. That's a very, very huge red flag. The more specific a person you're speaking to is, the more of a chance that you will not only fulfill the plan that you are addressing, that you are approaching, but also that you are going to get better results with just let us work on everything kind of person.
I would fully agree with that. And I would say that's true in any business too. The more specific you are with what you want to get out of it or what you want to accomplish, the more likely you're going to hit that target. It's like aiming at a bullseye. You know where the target is. If you don't, if you have nothing painted, you're shooting at a wall. It doesn't matter where you hit it.
And also from the perspective of an actual coach, it makes you safer from the legal standpoint, because you are not promising, golden apples. You are promising a specific outcome. And you're not, that's, I hate those claims of like, you're going to become a millionaire into 3 days. We have spoken about it previously, but it's just unattainable unless you are at 990,099, and we were going to 1 million. Let's just say that in 3 days, it's quite unlikely that we're going to do it. And I would have to be a magician or a magical fairy from La La Land, to make it happen for you, because magic dust, sprinkle magic dust all around your company. So steer away from people that are making exceptional claims. I'm also wary because I'm a little bit screwed up with copywriting and stuff like that. I always look at sentences like, I guarantee this. You can't guarantee anything because there's two people working together. I can give you the best plan to fulfill, but if you do not fulfill it, it's not going to happen. And the same situation is, we can formulate a wonderful plan, and I'm a shit coach, let's say, and then you start doing things and then I disappear and I don't give you any accountability. I don't follow up with you, and something happens, I disappear. You're not going to do it. There are no guarantees, because you can't guarantee that nothing was going to happen in your life, that we're not going to be go our separate ways because we just don't work good together. There can be massive outside influences of why this might not happen. So the only guarantee you can give is like, if you don't like my coaching, I will give you this and this much money back. That's the only guarantee you should be putting, nothing else. I can't guarantee your results. It's up to you.
And to piggyback on that, I would be very leery of people who overpromise and underdeliver. I would
Yeah.
say always look for those who, um, you know, you get more than what you pay for. You get more value out of what your investment is, and people who deliver more results than talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, which goes into, I think, one of the next ones we talked about, right? Which is, you know, how do we determine that? Like, how do we watch behavior? How do we know what kind of results we're going to get?
Well, I have a tendency, and I overdo it. But do you know what? There's no overdoing it when you want to choose the right person for you. Um, and that's is the person that you're going with, are they consistent with how they are behaving in the first place, right? So you have to observe them for a little while. And I observe my coaches, the mentors that I choose for extreme amounts of time sometimes, because I really want to know that this is the right person for me. And I want to know that they've been in business for a long time, that there's someone who is consistent, someone who is congruent with what they say and what they do, someone that doesn't just like, pop up sometimes and then disappears, and then, after 5 years says, hello, I'm back. It needs to be someone who is just there like a rock, if I'm to, because we do tend to want to rely on our coaches a little bit, right? It is confusing and it is scary to be a business owner, either way. So if you choose to invest with somebody, I think you should have that reassurance and security that they're going to be there for you. And it kind of, comes back to what I said. The only guarantee you can have is that you will get your money back if you don't like the coaching. But also, I would like to have the guarantee that the person is going to be there for me. They're not going to disappear. They're not going to, retract. They're not going to
Fly by night
suddenly
once they have your
leave
money.
me to it.
Yeah, once they have your money, that you don't hear from them again or something like that.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
you mentioned like watching somebody, and there may be people who are listening that really just want to get a coach like right now. So if you do, I would say, going with what you said, you can still observe somebody's behavior and messaging and branding and the way they do things, even if you don't like spend a lot of time watching them. If you're following their page, you can look and see the messaging that's on their page. And is that messaging that is the message they're putting out consistent and congruent with what they're talking? Is what they're putting out there congruent with where you want to go? Is the messaging one day saying, oh, I really like my favorite color is blue. The next day saying, oh, my favorite color is red. Are they giving the same kind of information based on their audiences that's watching them, or where, is it similar? And really going back, you can scroll through. I mean, that's one of the nice things about social media is you can go back as far as the page has been active, right? So you can go back as far as you can and see what kind of stuff people's posting. And then something that I always like to, when I'm starting to work with somebody, is references. Who else has worked with you that either is in my industry or has the results that I want to get?
Yeah,
So
references,
reaching out.
absolutely. I think seeing what results the people who are being coached by that person are getting is also an essential part of me choosing someone, absolutely. And I want to know that it's not just written testimonials, because you can get hundreds of written testimonials, but you can write them yourself. But it's harder to, for example, cheat on the recorded ones. Or some people, when they put things on, like testimonials on their website, do you have an actual name? Can you ask them for testimonials? Can you ask, okay, do you have a person that I can reach out to and they can talk to me about your work? And if the coach says no, I'm sorry, nobody's gonna, like, that's also kind of like a little bit, it should give you that thought of like, should I, should I not,
Well, that's a tough one because I know a lot of coaching, there are confidentiality agreements, right? Like you can't just breach confidentiality and say, oh, I worked with this person, unless
Every coach
like,
has a list of people that they can actually, that
right,
have
right,
given their consent to be
right.
contacted. So there is no such situation that you can't
That's where I
ever.
was going. Still, hey, tone it down. That's where I was going. I was about to say that, unless they've gotten pre-approved permission to share that. And I would say that, I mean, for me, I've always been able to get in touch with somebody if I've asked. and even the new business venture that I'm exploring, when I'm discussing this with the company, I said, who can I reach out to? Do you have a list of names? Do you have contacts? Do you have email addresses? And I've already, before I even jumping into this, I've already spoken to two other people that are in the industry that I'm looking to go into. I've gotten great feedback and great information, and I'm super excited. And I've got their personal cell phone numbers, and I might go visit them where they're at. And it's really cool. And I think that that's something very powerful when you can reach out to other people who are working with somebody or in a similar situation, and you can hear their results.
Yeah.
Say, how did you feel? And granted, we're all differently, so what aligns with you may not align with me, so that it's not necessarily guaranteed and bulletproof and foolproof. However, it does give a little bit of peace of mind when we can say,
An
hey, what was your
indication, what's the
experience?
experience? What's that people like really? Are they what they claim they are, right? Are they what kind of a personality they have? What kind of experience am I getting myself into? Because sometimes, growth is not as obvious, and sometimes it's not going to be massive in the numbers, but the experience is going to be so good that you would want to come back to that person over and over and continue the cooperation longer. So sometimes it's about that emotion that the person evokes in you, right? That experience that they're providing. So yeah, personality matters. I think that's another one that we should actually kind of pinpoint: personality, values, not just congruence in their behavior and their messaging, like when you go and stalk them, but also are they the same kind of person inside post sale as that they're claiming to be before, right?
And also, do they align with you?
Yeah.
You might have somebody who has great results, but you just don't, the
Don't get
personality
along. You're
conflict,
just
or
like
or
two,
or
like I
you just,
said, you can be two
or their
different people,
values
and it's just like, nah, we can't
the
work
values
together.
are different, or they're just really like they something inside you just that it doesn't feel right.
Mm.
It's really important to pay attention to your internal instincts as well, because I know there's been times where I've gone blindly at things and said, oh, I'm going to trust this person, just go for it. And my internal was like, I'm not really sure, but why not? Let's just do it. I believe them, and every time I've gone against my internal sensors, every time, doesn't even, not even business wise, just in anything. Like, I'm driving down the street, like, I kind of feel like I should go left. No, I think I'll go right. And nope, I ended up wrong. Your internal is there for a reason. Your gut instinct is there for a reason.
I
Trust
know
it.
exactly what you mean, my friend. Ignoring
Trust
your
your
intuition
internal.
is the worst thing you can do. Absolutely. But you know what? I just remember one thing. When you were talking about, somebody wants a coach right now, that's why I never advise to make a hasty decision. So like those really excited, decisions like, oh, that looked so good, let me buy it. Of course, there will be a lot of people who will completely dismiss me. But if you are going for high-end coaching, and I don't mean like, the lower end or middle tier like products that you buy or courses or trainings or stuff like that, that's a little bit more lenient. But I'm talking about the high end, the really expensive one-to-one coaching, something that will be very personal to you. Don't make a hasty decision. You can always give yourself that week, if you need it really, really quick. Give yourself those few days. Give yourself that week. You can always binge watch, someone if you don't want to, like me, obsessively just stalk someone for a year or something. You can binge watch what they've got. You can check what sort of materials they provide. What is their style? That will also indicate what kind of person they're going to probably be after you pay them money and you spend some time with them. So give yourself that time.
And
Do not, even if you need it, really quick, give yourself a few days to kind of get to know the person, because it is sort of like a relationship, yeah? Get to know the person you're going to be spending so much time with.
also ask questions. Ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can. And I'm not saying get free advice. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying ask the questions that are meaningful to you. And you'll be able to tell, I think you should be able to tell, based on the personality and their response to your questions. Are they getting fed up when you ask them a lot of questions? Because if they're getting fed up with you, how are they going to be when they're coaching you?
Yeah,
Or
but
are they
also
like
be
very
mindful.
open?
Also be mindful not to, like you said, not to expect free advice, because the person has been
Right.
probably doing this for a very long time, and their experience is indicative of having all those answers. But they do require
No,
payment. We're also human beings.
right,
We also have bills to pay. We also have families to feed. So also
right,
respect, as you know, you want respect other
right.
people as well. So be mindful of how you ask those questions.
Right. And not, again, not asking questions for information, but asking about, ask about the program, ask about their style, ask about, what you can expect from them, ask them, what their beliefs are,
Absolutely.
what is the process when I work with you, you know, how often am I able to reach you? Like when are our sessions going to be, how long do we get to have conversations? If I don't have the results at the end of the program, am I able to still reach out to you? Is there an extension afterwards? You ask those questions, and you'll tell, you should be able to tell how they respond.
Yeah.
And some people might, or they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. Here's what we do. They're gonna be like, well, after this program, the continuation is gonna be this, or from here we can go to here, or yeah, I'll still answer questions for you, but it's not gonna be an everyday thing. There's gonna be different types of responses, and you have to figure out what's gonna work, because every one of us, again, is different. But finding that coach that really is going to resonate with you, that's going to provide you the service that you want to pay for, and that you are going to be able to say, yes, this is what I want, this is the goals I'm going for, this excites me. I think this is the person that's going to help me get from where to that next level, to whatever that
Yeah.
level is.
Yeah. So alignment will also be like, are they congruent with what I see myself having when I get to that place that I'm desiring to get to? So
Yeah.
are they representing the values and the characteristics of what I want to represent when I get there? So that would fall under the alignment. But I just thought about one more, and I think that's the fifth one. What's very important for me is that they have a legal backing, so that you're not just, having a chat and everything is just like verbal agreements. I really, and this is just because my mom has been into quality management systems, and I'm completely, obsessed about having everything written down, everything clear. Like I said about the specificity in the very beginning, I like to have things written down. So it doesn't have to be like a legal language contract, but I like to have things specified and stipulated, how long for, like you said, how often the meetings, what are we, me as a coach and the person as a client are planning on doing, as in like our input, what is going to be our input and all of that, what are the expectations, what are the obligations. And I like to have it clear. I always do it with my clients, and I think it's great because you can always come back, to that document and say, okay, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this. Because like you say, if you don't get results, that's the best way. Having that legal backing is the best way of actually getting both of the sides in check, right? So I have done this for you, you haven't done this, or the other way around. You haven't done this for me, and I have done that. But you have everything written down and everything is clear. So at the end of the actual coaching, which sometimes, like I said, is not as tangible as you would think, you have a specific information of whether a coach has fulfilled their job that you paid them for or not.
That's a great point. That is really a good point. And it kind of piggybacks on some of the stuff we talked about before. I know I don't know if it was this episode or prior or just a different conversation, but two other things that pop in my mind while you're saying that. One is alignment. Like, do they practice what they preach? And two, um, do they themselves have the results that we want?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they where we want to be? Or are they at a level where they've been where we want to be, or something along those lines?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
So
think
we've
it's really
we've got
important.
five. We actually have five now, and yeah, I think those are the most important ones. Pick and choose, but I think that what we just said, the five things you should pay attention to, if they are not fulfilled, it might be a red flag, and I would just recommend that you kind of window shop a little bit. It's the same as it is with come on, let's not kid ourselves. We are a commodity. As coaches, mentors, we are also a commodity. So it's like with products. You check the reviews, right? You check that you're going to get what you are aiming to get. It's just a case of the differences between a product and a person, right? You need to know what you're buying. You're paying your hard-earned money for something. You would want to know that you are going to get out of it what you are seeking.
Very true. Very true. And I've seen a lot of different programs out there, all priced differently, all different stuff,
Yeah.
all different ways about doing it. And
I mean, there's different types of people, and there's lots of dishonest people in the coaching, mentoring, consulting industry, in every industry. But there's quite a lot of people like that kind of go into it without expertise. Like I said, it's another topic for a different episode. But yeah, you need to be very wary of the basics, and I believe what we have said in this video are the basics. And guys, speaking of dishonest people, I love that Katie loved the episode. We are actually planning on expanding a little bit on the topic. And if we do get, let's say, what should we go for? 20 likes on this video, then we're going to record a super exciting episode of what to pay attention to with scams. And I wanted to actually call this the Nigerian Princess of Marketing. How'd you like that, Ian?
oh, are we going off of the little emails that get sent out that you're like somebody's long lost
Yeah,
cousin? You
that's
won
exactly it.
what,
That's exactly
$25
it.
million, and you just have to reply with your name and address and social security number, and they're going to send you a check for this. And then once you get the check, then you're going to have to get, oh my God.
Right. So exposing scams, we are going to do that. If we get 20 likes on this video, Ian, we have to do the video of Nigerian Princess of Marketing. But so far, I'm really, really grateful that you guys are listening, that you are watching. Thank you, Katie, again for this wonderful, wonderful request. We are looking forward to having more requests from you guys because we're really, really enjoying your messages. And we also want to know what you think about today's episode. Are those the ones that you would pay attention to, those 5 things that we have mentioned? Or do you have some other ones that are very, very important to you? Please do share them in the comment section on YouTube. And also you can send them to us to habitofinfluence@gmail.com if you are listening on a podcast. And remember to tap that notification bell so that you don't miss any other episodes. Like I said, exciting episode coming up. If we get 20 likes, Nigerian Princess of Marketing. And I think that's it for this week, Ian. Any other words?
Yeah, I think just summing it up really quickly, just really making sure that when you're looking for a coach, do your research. Find somebody who aligns with your goals, your values. Find somebody who's going to help you get where you are to where you want to be. Find somebody who is not just talking the talk, but also walks the walk.
Yeah. And pay attention to the red flags. All right, guys. Thank you so very much. We're going to see you next week. Again, I'm extending my last week's freebie. You can find it in the comment section where you can find 5 simple ways that you can implement into your daily life to skyrocket your productivity. So I highly, highly encourage you to check this out. And also, I love you. I appreciate you. We are going to be with you next week. Thank you so much.